Hey guys, hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be looking at some products that are for sale this Black Friday. So if you're not interested in that, totally understand, no problem. But we did learn some stuff that we didn't expect to learn in this video, trying to connect this power station to my main panel. That ended up being kind of interesting.
I was completely wrong.
And then we're also going to be talking about the Marauder 2 versus the Marauder Mini that just came out. And all the links for these different things are going to be right in the description. So if you want to skip the video but check out the links are right there. And then I'm also going to talk about the Malco Eale Grips. I don't have a pair, but you should definitely consider getting one if you want one. They're going to be discontinuing production in Nebraska. But in any case, let's get into the video. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the channel and for subscribing. Really appreciate you guys being here and just making the channel possible. In this video, we're going to talk about connecting this power station to my main panel right over here. So we're going to get into that part of the video here in just a couple minutes. And I made a really obvious blunder. Well, it's obvious to me now, but me just a few hours ago was very excited about something. See if you can figure out what I did wrong or what I didn't understand before we connect the power station to the power inlet box. Let me know if you are able to figure out the mistake that I made, the assumption that was incorrect. And this thing is actually a really good option if you want a big, powerful battery bank. They have a pretty significant sale. Link right in the description so you can check that out for yourself if you're looking for a slightly larger capacity option that you would be able to plug your RV into. This is absolutely perfect. When they said that they could send one over for us to take a look at, I said, yeah, go ahead. Having a 240 volt output is extremely useful, especially if you have any sort of a power inlet box on your home, or obviously this is more of a standard RV plug right here, so you could plug your camper directly into this thing and power it. The amount of power you're going to be able to get is 3 kilowatts, and you can expand it up to 6 kilowatts if you add additional modules to this. This thing can integrate with additional units. So let's go ahead and check this thing out. Now, I got this thing out of the box, which is quite the process because this thing is extremely heavy, and that is because of the capacity that this thing is able to hold. So it's at 100% charge now, and we've got our RV outlet right here, but what I want to do is connect this to my house. The problem is I do not have the correct size adapter to go from this to our 4-prong 30 amp power inlet box. So we're gonna hit the road right now and go grab the correct adapter, and then we'll be right back to set this thing up. Pablo is gonna come with me. Let's go see if we can find the right adapter at Menards here really quick. I'm picking up my sister Lena, so we're just waiting for her to come out. Thanks for being a helper today.
You're welcome.
And we might go where for lunch?
Pizza Ranch.
For those of you who don't know, Pizza Ranch is like absolutely iconic in the Midwest. I think it started in Iowa, just a few hours south of where we are right now. So basically it came from here. We pretty much always go in the out, but it was super annoying during COVID because they wouldn't let you. For a long time, you had to go in the in, which is just absurd. So we got to get some plumbing components for the boiler we're working on. There should be some videos coming out about that soon. But we'll start by looking for the cord adapter. That's our primary mission right now. Now, of course they have the right cord, but it's in the opposite configuration. You can see right here we have the TT30R for receptacle, but I need this to be the P for plug. But what I'm gonna do is purchase this one right here. This has a TT30P, which is what we need to connect to that power station. And on the opposite side, we have the 1450R. And at home, I have this exact cord, which is the 1450P to the L1430R. So this is what we need in order to adapt so that we can connect to the power inlet box that I have on my property. Should be good to go with just this one adapter and this one that we already have at home, as long as I can find it quickly, which I think I can. Hey Dave, Ben Salstrom again here. Wanted to see if you could check one more thing for me. The price on a 1-inch male adapter, copper, sweat.
$8.02, $8.02.
Okay, perfect. Havla, we need 8 of these. One of these, 45s. We've got stuff. Do you guys want to go to Pizza Ranch?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you really, really sure?
Yeah, we're free, so why not?
Well, you're not free.
I'm not.
No.
Why?
Because there's only one free person with pink with every adult. So we have to have you adopted into a different family. Some people come here for the chicken, some people come here for the pizza. But either way, It's just really fantastic. So thank you for this food and this day. I pray you bless it to our bodies. Thank you so much for what you've done for us. Pray you'd help us to be good stewards of what you've given us and to serve others above ourselves. In Jesus' name, amen. There's Elena's plate. Pizza, chicken, breadstick, chicken, pizza, potato chips, milk. Here's mine. Lots of chicken, lots of pizza. It's gonna be great. So I'm gonna put the link in the description so you guys can check out the sale for yourself. We're gonna talk about these in a little while after we're done working on connecting that power station to the panel of the house. Now this thing has an integrated handle, so you can tip this up and tip it back onto its integral wheels and wheel this thing around. But we're gonna be making our way across the yard over there to our power inlet box. So we're gonna upgrade to pneumatic wheels. And actually, it just so happens, this thing fits absolutely perfectly between those two wheels. We'll go ahead and wheel this over to the final destination. If you guys want a cool chair, we had it listed on Facebook Marketplace. It seems like nobody's interested. Here we go. Malco produces the Eale Grip Vise grips, and they are the best Vise grips anywhere in the world. Now the sad thing is they are actually stopping production of the Eale Grip locking pliers. Apparently they just weren't able to sell enough. They're fully made in the USA. It was just really expensive to produce them, so they're gonna stop production. They're still producing them until they finish fulfilling the orders for like the end of this year. If you want something really unique that will be almost like a collector's item, I will link to those if you're interested. I think I'm gonna order a pair maybe. I've been debating about it. It does seem expensive for what it is, but I think they won like the best locking pliers by Project Farm, which is pretty phenomenal. This thing has 4 20 amp 120 volt receptacles on it. It has 6 quick charge 3.0 27 watt USB charge ports. It has these supercharged ports up here, a 65 watt USB-C and a 100 watt USB-C. And then we've got some 12 volt 5 amp DC outlets right there, and a car outlet 12 volt 10 amp basically 12 volt socket right there, so you can use all your standard 12 volt accessories. In order to turn this thing on, we hold the button for 1 second and then it'll boot up. And we've got a touch screen right here that's going to tell us a bunch of different information. So that's all well and good, but I'm most interested in this 220 volt plug right over here. So we are ready now to go ahead and turn our AC load on. We'll measure this again. That was completely wrong. Shoot. So this is reading 125 volts, and it actually says that right on there. It's just 125 volt, 30 amp RV plug. It is not a 240 volt plug. And I should have known that, because we have our TT30P, but it says it right on the cord too. 125 volt, 30 amp male to our 1450R 125 or 250 volt, 50 amp female, which is what's on this side right here. That means this is just a regular 120 volt one, except for that it is extremely substantial and it has fantastic specifications and output capabilities. I just looked at this plug right up here and I said, oh, it's 240 volts, no way. And I saw the 3 and I was like, oh, it's fine, but now that I think about it, the 3-prong 240 volt output looks different than this. Real quick, I'm going to interrupt myself. It is the next day and I did some more digging and I figured out what happened. Now Josh will throw the actual information from their website up here on the screen right now as I talk through this. But basically what happened is, in the original email that I got from these guys when we started working together, they said that the unit supports 240 volts. When I glanced at the unit with the plug with the 3 prongs that were bigger, I just kind of assumed automatically that it was going to be a 240 volt unit. But they never explained to me that in order to get that 240 volts, you actually have to have 2 of these power stations and a kit that will allow you to interconnect the 2 units and will provide the proper plugs that we need to connect it to our power inlet box. So it totally can do 240 volts, but the unit that we have today is not. Really, honestly, my fault for not doing more looking into it, but a little bit confusing that they said it does support 240 volts without clarifying that it needed a second unit and an additional accessory. I'm hoping that they'll be willing to work with us and send over what we need in order to power the property with 240 volts to be able to use it as a proper generator with a 240 volt output. So that's what happened. Let's continue in the video. During the rest of the video, I'm going to assume again that it is just a 120 volt unit, which is correct, but you can do 240 volts if you want to. Just need to purchase the additional things that you need to make that happen. Let's just go ahead and plug it in anyway. We're going to end up powering half of the panel essentially. My guess for continuity is we're going to have this one right here is our neutral, I believe. That's going to go down to this one right here. And then this top one is the ground prong, so that's going to go to the ground. And then this one over here is going to go to one of the two. I do not think it will go to both, but let's go ahead and check. So we'll try it from the ground to the ground first. Continuity there. Let's check from the neutral to the neutral. And neutral to the ground. Nothing neutral to the ground. And now let's check one of these hot legs to the hot side. Okay, so there's continuity there. Not to the other two. Is there continuity on this too? No. So this one is dead. That is not going to power that half of the panel, whichever side that ends up being. Which makes sense. We're going from 120 volts up here to a 240 volt style plug down here. And then once we get to there, now we're looking at this 50 amp to 30 amp adapter, but it's 4 and 4. Those are just going to be straight passing through. So nothing weird going on there. Definitely comment down below if you think I should never post anything like this where I made an obvious blunder, or if I should continue to post it. I bet some of you were like, while I was in Menards, saying, no Ben, no Ben, no Ben, you're going from a 125 volt plug to a 240 volt plug. It isn't going to work, which obviously makes sense. But anyway, let's go ahead and switch this guy over here now from the grid using our breaker interlock kit. If you're interested, I'll link to the video where I installed this kit. So here we go. The grid is off and our power inlet box is turning on. You can see our AC load is 387 watts right now. 8 hours approximately remaining before the thing will be depleted. They are running a pretty fantastic sale for this Black Friday, but honestly, no pressure. When I'm looking at stuff like this, I'm learning about it myself. Obviously, in this case, I'm really learning about it because I totally misunderstood what this thing was. Over here, we have additional ports on this thing. We have our solar input of up to 2,000 watts, our grid AC input of up to 3,000 watts, and our E-Link port, which is for connecting multiple together, and our E+ port. So there's definitely a lot of expansion that you can do in order to make this a more versatile system still. I'm really looking forward to being able to have a 240 volt option so that I can actually properly utilize this setup with a battery backup solution. Now I know that there are products that are out there that can do it, and I know that probably I should just build my own like off-grid battery bank setup, but I kind of like the idea of just having a simple like use it once in a while sort of a thing. Being connected to the grid is obviously extremely convenient and way cheaper than building a battery solution, at least in my opinion right now, based on the limited knowledge that I have. So that was an interesting learning process for me. I hope you guys learned something, or hopefully you already knew what I was doing wrong like I was saying. But at any rate, let's get back to checking out these Olights a little bit more for those of you that are interested. Now, I want to be fully transparent with you guys again with this. They sent me over this light right here and a couple other ones. They sent me this one and a couple of little bitty ones. And that's it. They don't pay me anything for the video itself. They do pay me a 10% commission if you guys do choose to purchase something at the link in the description. You can use the discount code BEN10 for anything that is not currently on the sale. Now, the thing that I'm most excited about on this particular sale is this light right here. But in order to talk about this, we have to talk about this one first. This is one that I bought with my own money. This is the Marauder 2, and this thing is 14,000 lumens, and it has a flood mode and a spotlight mode. It charges with USB-C and acts as a battery bank, so you can use it to charge your phone. So this thing is extremely substantial and pretty expensive. I'll link to it in the description, but if you want a flashlight that is gonna steal the show, this is absolutely the one to have. What I like to do with mine is I keep it in the cup holder in my truck or whatever I'm driving, and it is an excellent searchlight or even work light. You can just set it somewhere, and that 14,000 lumens of flood is absolutely perfect. With the success of the Marauder 2, I guess Olight wanted to continue that, so they made a Marauder Mini. So this thing is not as big of a light. It has an output of about 7,000 lumens, but it has a couple other tricks up its sleeve and the Marauder 2 does not. I did a comparison of the Marauder 2 versus the Marauder Mini the other night, so let's go ahead and roll that footage and then we'll come back. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. You rotate the dial to unlock it. And right now it is in spotlight mode, if I'm not mistaken. Out over there, there's a grove of trees a ways away. And here is high. And the cool thing too, but when you turn this thing up, it actually vibrates to let you know that you are all the way to the highest setting. Right there you can kind of see the reflection off of that shed or agricultural building. So it lights it up pretty decently. Now let's toggle to floodlight mode. This is at 7,000 lumens, which is seriously impressive. Now this is one really cool thing. If I press and hold, it'll cycle through red, green, and blue, which is really sweet. And that's something that the Marauder 2 is not capable of. Now this thing charges magnetically. It doesn't have the charging port on it, but the magnetic charger is really slick and you don't have that USB-C port. Now time for the big guy. Same thing, rotate it to unlock it. We'll double click to turn into turbo mode. All right, now we've got that square beam. Oh, that's another difference is the other one has a round beam. Okay, so you can see way out there. It definitely lights up that tree line a little bit better, so the spotlight mode is gonna be better, but obviously this is a much brighter light. Now we'll switch into the 14,000 lumen floodlight mode. Obviously that's a lot of light, so just kind of interesting to compare the two, but the Marauder Mini is absolutely a fantastic option if you don't want something that's quite so bulky. It's a really good buy. Link in the description. Here's the other cool thing about the Marauder is you open and close this charging port just like this. Here's an example of using the Marauder 2 as a work light. I've actually done it in this exact way several different times, but right up there in this tree, there's the perfect spot where I can set it between two of the main limbs. Right there you can see we've got a nice work light. If I see any other good deals, I've been posting them on the community tab on YouTube. So if you guys want to see any deals, just kind of keep an eye on that community tab. I only try to post stuff there if it's like a really crazy deal. I'm not trying to just spam you guys or anything like that. Only posting things that I think would be useful for you guys to see, or at least useful for some of us. So it's pretty obvious that the Marauder 2 is more powerful than the Marauder Mini, but that kind of goes without saying. The size of this one's a little bit nicer, but the additional features on this one are kind of nice, but obviously those color modes that this one has are pretty fantastic too, so you can switch from the red, green, and blue. I am curious, what would you use those colors for most of the time? I feel like I heard something about hunting red light is better or something, but you can tell me about that in the comments. Okay, the next one that we've got here is the Olight Valkyrie PL3. Now this one's actually pretty reasonably priced if you click on that link down below, and this thing is a nice weapon mounted light. And this thing does not have a rechargeable battery, but it's designed to mount right on your Picatinny rail, which is super convenient. And right here, if we pull this open, it's gonna pop open the bottom right here, and I think we have two CR123 batteries in here. But the thing about these lights is that the amount that you're actually going to use it is probably not crazy significant. And having non-rechargeable batteries in that scenario might not be that big of a deal. Plus you save some weight and cost on the actual unit. So check this out if you're interested. These are a pretty great deal, as well as the Marauder Mini. I think they might also have the Marauder 2 on sale, but I'm not totally sure. I hope they do, because I'm thinking about getting another one of those for somebody that I think would really be able to use it. And one more thing about the Olight sale is that these ITHX keychain lights are being given away on Olight sale. I think you might have to pay for shipping if you didn't buy anything, but these things are actually pretty neat. If you open them up like this, you can see they charge with micro USB. It's not USB-C, but they still work really pretty fantastic, and they come in a really cute little box. So if you just need like a little stocking stuffer for somebody, this is kind of a fun item to throw in there. They sent me the red and green colors to check out. I don't know if you get to choose or if they send you a random one, but either way, it's kind of fun. So ultimately, I think that this is absolutely the perfect option if you want to have a battery bank that checks a few boxes that these smaller ones can't. The first one is that we have these 110 volt 20 amp receptacles panels that are going to be able to operate anything that can be plugged into them. So even the biggest jackhammer, high demand tools and appliances. So bringing this thing with you to the job site would be absolutely perfect because it could run anything you're going to plug into it. The second category is definitely going to be those that are doing a lot of RV traveling stuff, and they want to have a battery backup that is decent enough to be able to handle a pretty significant load for quite a while. And with the integrated wheels, it makes it a little bit easier to handle and roll around. So that's the second category that I'd say it would definitely be fantastic for. The third category I'd say is just those that want to have some emergency backup power but don't want to mess with having a gas generator. Obviously having like a little inverter generator is kind of a similar deal where you have decent output but not amazing. You don't have 220 volts. In that situation, this is kind of comparable because it's going to give you some time to deal with an outage if the outage isn't going to last very long. Again, links in the description. You guys can check this thing out for yourself. Comment down below with what you currently have for a power station, or if you have one at all, or if you think they're a complete scam. Definitely would be interested to hear what you guys have to say. If you do want to pick one of these up, there's two different ways to do it. You can do it directly through the company that's making them, or you can get them on Amazon. Honestly, if it were me, I'd probably lean towards getting it from Amazon, mostly because then you have Amazon backing it up in addition to the company, but I think in either case, you probably won't have any issues. If you do choose to purchase one of these, I will earn a small commission on that, so just be aware of that when you make that purchase. Thanks so much for watching this video. Appreciate hanging out with you guys at least. We're gonna have some really technical videos coming out shortly, including some about boiler installations, so I hope you'll hang around for those. In the meantime, I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.